The last time I bought an E30 not running, this is what the internals looked like. Beautiful. This is from the car that I M50 swapped, my old sedan. So here it is, the welcoming to the new project. Another E30 sedan, as you can see, in a beautiful faded blue exterior. And this is what really intrigued me about this car. A blue interior. Yes, this car is pretty much the doppelganger of the E34 build. But it's not the exact blue. This is a different color blue that I'll talk about when I open the hood. But I believe this is a glacier blue interior. So these cars are pretty much twins, which is what basically enticed me. Although this car has been sitting outside for 30 years consecutive, and that car was garage kept. So yeah, I bought another project. The reason I love YouTubing is because it makes me feel not guilty about going out and buying old, non-running BMWs. So this is a 1986 or 87, I cannot remember. 325e economy, fitted with a beautiful automatic transmission, blue on blue, and this thing needs love. So this thing has been sitting for 5 years, non-running, so nothing entices me more than an old BMW that hasn't ran in half a decade, because that means we get to go through and do some fun troubleshooting, and that's the main reason why I bought it, because I like to do troubleshooting with you guys. I think you guys like to learn from it, and it's just the most fun to me. So that's why I went out and bought this. It popped up locally, and I said, to hell with it. Let's just go pick up another project. Since now I'm doing this full time and I have more time on my hands, I need to start stacking up projects, because once the Blue E34 is done, I need to get into something else. So that's why I bought this. So I'm going to take you guys around, show you guys the details on this car, show you the engine, and basically talk about it and what the route is with this car. So now if we're talking exterior, I would put this car in the rough category. It's pretty beat up. The paint is all over the place. Like, this car's clearly sat outside due to the dry rotted interior, and the paint's just kind of faded. So like the roof is pretty faded, but also pretty dirty. So I'm gonna wash this up and see how it turns out. But like, we got some fading on the C-pillars, some fading on the you know, by the trunk. The top panels aren't too bad. So I mean, like, this doesn't look bad. This is pretty bad. I don't know. This car I think has been, you know, resprayed. So here we have really bad fading on the top of the door. So my guess is this car sat outside and this side saw the sun, because it looks pretty brutal. Like, this mirror is completely black. That mirror has a touch of gray left to it. And I think these cars came with like mirrors that looked similar to that. The grills are so faded that they almost appear paint matched to the blue. In the pictures I was like, oh, that's hideous, but then when I got there I realized that they're just so faded. So we're gonna be doing some exterior restorations on this car. So, oh, I guess I forgot to talk about the fact that it's a little rusty as well. So the rockers, which is weird because that's a very weird spot for these cars to rust, right here. Like, these cars aren't like E34s, the doors don't trap rust, like the doors are clean, but the top of the rockers aren't, which is weird because water doesn't really sit here because there's obviously a gap. So it's a very odd place to rust, but otherwise, you know, that's a little, you know, not too good. The front is actually not horrible. The underside of this car, probably hard to see, is really not bad, and that's the only thing I cared about. I told the guy I don't want there to be like holes in the floor and stuff. So there's some rust on this thing. We got a little rust forming around the antenna, the bottom of the trunk lid, you know, things here and there. But like, the spare tire compartment and the battery tray are all solid. Like, there's no holes in the main parts of the chassis, which to me means more than anything else. Like, gas door, there's no rust in there, which is nice. So I wouldn't say this is too rusty of a car. It's definitely a rusty car, but not like at the end of the road. And that's why this car will be a fun little restoration, because I think there's a lot of life left to be had with this car. Since it's an 87 or 86, it's got the early model diving boards, which everyone hates. It's got those ugly fogs that just kind of hang underneath. It looks really goofy. The chrome's in less than stellar condition. Rear bumper is the same. Ugly E24 style bumpers, which are, you know, whatever. Tail lights, early tails, which I think are big and ugly is what people say. I don't know all that much about E30s. It's got awesome pinstriping, which is pretty rad. Original blue pinstriping, which is actually really sleek. I actually really enjoy that. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much the exterior. Stock bottle caps, shoddy tires, not too bad. Now the interior is a thing of its own. So as I said, glacier blue. Door cards are like mint. Like mint. That is super clean. But as for the seats, front and rear, they look like they have been in direct sunlight for 20 years. They are, I mean, it's just like rock hard. Like these feel horrendous. Like these are pretty far gone. The patinaed seats doesn't look horrible. That one's got some pretty gnarly rips in it. Interior's interior, you know, whatever. Seats are seats. Can always reupholster, whatever. The blue carpet needs to be cleaned up. I'll probably have a video of me detailing this interior, because why not? It's fun. Steering wheel's actually pretty decent. Oh, nope, it's not decent. It's coming apart. Dash, as you would expect of a car that's faded like this, is cracked to hell. Typical. Cluster, 276,000 miles. I didn't even look at the mileage when I bought this car. That's how bad I am when I buy cars. I just kind of impulse buy. So 276, which is what the Carfax says. So I'm guessing the cluster will still roll over, which is cool. Don't know anything about anything else. I have never tried the car or anything like that. Battery's flat dead. Vents are nice. Glove box. Looks like an animal's been in there. Don't love that. That's great. Radio, original, probably not any good. Whatever this thing's called. The check control, climate controls, left a lighter for me. Missing this. Auto trans, as I said, shame, but it is what it is. This window switch I have, I just took it out to test Zax E30 when I had it. Accordion early style e-brake boot. Nice door card, nice door card. A blue rear deck, that's actually pretty sweet. Headliner's actually pretty nice, no issues. Check controls intact. So this interior is not bad. I mean, it's bad, but a lot of garbage there. Oh, actually, I forgot to show you guys something funny that I found in this interior. So maybe the previous owner was like a coin collector or something, because I found 3 Canadian coins and then a Israeli shekel, which is pretty interesting, and a Philippine peso, which is pretty cool. So interesting things to find in an old E30, like, and there's a few other things in here that I'll go through, and that looks like a bunch of resistors or transistors. Interesting. Door handle's missing, gonna have to figure that out. We already checked in the trunk, but trunk interior's there. Toolkit's missing, I already checked. Most of it's pretty much scattered. What do we have here? Anti-theft radio instructions in a booklet, that's nice. Service, Africa, America, Asian, Australian. This is a tail light backing, so, oh, there's the tail light. So no bulbs in that. Trunk interior, actually I don't know what this is. It says BMW on it, I have no idea what that is though. Jack, tool. Quality continuation plan, BMW. Some mold, it looks like, beautiful. Let's close this up. And then that leaves us with the engine bay. The beautiful M20 B27 that has not ran in 5 years or so. So that is the best thing, the most fun thing to diagnose, because God knows what's wrong. Hopefully it's not seized. I'm going to go ahead and charge that battery up and hook it up and see if we can get some cranking. I was going to spin it by hand, but I don't see how I could get anything on that crank pulley. And it even has the underguard, the splash guard, which is really rare. So that's pretty cool. So there's the paint code, Cosmo Blau Metallic. Cosmo Blue on Ultramarine Blue, that is it. And that car is Glacier Blue on Ultramarine Blue. So close but different. Anyway. Missing the fuse box cover, but otherwise everything appears to be here. It seems complete. Airbox, AFM, all the hoses, a completely ripped intake boot, which is beautiful and loose nonetheless, so that's cool. Expansion tank with no coolant in it. Plug wires labeled, not mounted, just kind of hanging out. AC lines are there. Makeshift coolant line hose holder. This is interesting. I don't think this is original. This is like vacuum stuff. ICV right here. Cold start valve. I'm not sure what all this would be teed off and stuff. Oh, this goes in the fuel rail. Okay. I don't know if that's original, because that's the return of the fuel rail. That's the cold start valve, and then that is probably the return back to the gas tank. I think that's been reworked, because that does not look original at all. I don't think this would be run this way. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty crusty and old in here. I'm hoping that the engine spins and everything's good there. Unfortunately, pulling the car off the trailer, I discovered that the brake hard line that runs the car has a hole in it, which really pisses me off because that thing sucks to replace. So now in a video we're gonna have to deal with routing a full hard line through this rusty underside, which is miserable. Probably gonna have to go with a copper line there that will bend easier. That sucks. That's irritating. Didn't want to have to do that, but we're gonna have to do that. So we are gonna have to get into this car and deal with some of that stuff. But otherwise, I think I checked the oil. Let's see. Oh yeah, plenty of oil in this thing. So I say let's go charge that battery, jump it up with a jump box, and see if this thing will crank and if we have engine electronics, or I guess any electronics for that matter. Oh, looks like we got power, because I hear the annoying beep that shows that the key's in here. Look at that. Check control. Nice. Brake lights. No. Washer fluid low. No other lights. That's good, I guess, for now until it starts, if it starts. Oil service light, inspection, parking brake, anti-lock, oil pressure. Oh, I think that's just the ignition. It would all be on. But all the gauges bounce around, which is good. Radio's asking for a code. Maybe I can find that. Check control. Whoa, this is in kilometers? Can you change that? I wonder why this is in kilometers. That's interesting. See if we have headlights. Oh, looks like we have headlights. Yes, headlights are a go. Do we have tail lights? Well, we're not gonna have the one because there's nothing in it. Yes, we have a tail light. Okay, that's cool. I think we have fog lights. I would be amazed if these fog lights work. Yeah, no. Horn? Oh yeah, horn works. Windows? Oh, nice. Ooh. Interesting. Passenger window, yes. Driver rear? Nope. Window switch in. Does it work? Yes, it does. Alright, that's cool. So we have 3 out of 4 windows. That one's being stubborn, which is nice. Otherwise, not sure what else to check. Now let's see if it cranks. I should probably check the timing belt before I do this, but we're just going to go ahead and do it anyway. So if it cranks, then that's a good thing. That means the engine's not seized. Maybe it'll start. Who knows? Oh, it cranks. Does it spin? I think it spins. Let's see. Yep, the fan is spinning. Oh, it actually cranks pretty nicely. Okay, that's beautiful. So I guess that means the engine's not seized, but it definitely doesn't run. So, yep, does not run. So, engine's not seized, which is basically the biggest thing, because that means that we have an engine that we can work with here. But next step is basically figuring out why it doesn't run. Fuel related, spark related, who knows. But that will not come yet. I'm not going to do that in this video. This is just the introductory video showing you guys my new beautiful purchase. The next episode in this series won't come for quite some time, actually, probably over a month, because as you guys know, I'm wrapping up this E34, and once this is wrapped up, we're heading to LA in this thing. We're crossing the country, and I'm going to be filming along the way with that and meeting up with friends and stuff. So I'll be leaving for that trip. So this is basically just going to be sitting here waiting for me. There's some brake fluid dripping. Beautiful. But yeah, this is going to be sitting here waiting for me until I get back. I don't have any intentions or desires to start this car or start working with this car until I'm back, because I'm already a month behind schedule on this, and I need to wrap things up. So this car is going to sit in the woods for a while, and we will get back to this in probably a month or so, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can wait. I'll be excited to dive into this car, so I hope you guys are excited as well. I hope you guys are patient with me, because it will begin, but just not for a little bit. So now, what are my plans with this car? A lot of people, when I put the picture of it on my story on Instagram, were really excited, and I'm happy that people are excited for me to dive into an E30. Everyone wants me to build an E30 again. Everyone always tells me, do another E30, do another E30. I'm not a huge E30 guy, you guys know that. If I was to build another E30, I would probably want to start with maybe a little bit better of a basis than this, because as I showed you guys, it's not at the end of its life rusty, but it's rusty enough to where, So I'm not gonna build this or do anything crazy with it. It's not gonna get an engine swap like the other one. If you guys wanna see M50 swap videos, go a year or so back, and I have a whole series on that. This isn't gonna get wheels, suspension. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. It's not gonna be a build like my Blue E34. We're not gonna go through and do everything. Basically, the plan of attack with this car is to get it running good. So we're gonna go through, do all the basic maintenance stuff. I'm gonna show you guys what I do when I buy an M20 to ensure that the M20 is gonna survive, and you know, stuff like that. Assuming we can get this running relatively easy, I'm not really too worried about it. M20s are pretty simple creatures. Then we're gonna have to make sure it runs good, no noises. You know, we're gonna have to do some lines, dry ride things, intake, boot, cooling system. We're gonna have to see if it overheats or not. That's another issue we have to worry about. So there's a lot of things that we'll get into with this that we have to worry about. Otherwise, aside from mechanically, I usually do not like to do body work and despise it and don't buy cars that need it. But this car, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of body work. Nothing crazy, but like for these rockers that I was telling you guys about, I think what I'm gonna do with that little rust there, since it's not like integrity, it's not chassis, I'm gonna just sand these rockers down and spray them, because as you guys know, E30s don't have skirts, they have rockers which are black, and it's hard to tell because it's so faded. But what I'm gonna do is probably sand these down and respray the rockers with whatever wrinkle black that they use. And I think that'll really make this car look a lot nicer, because if you really look at it from a distance, the only thing that doesn't look nice is the rust under the doors. So I should be able to get those fixed and looking nice, and I'll show you guys that process. And as far as body work, that's probably all I will do about that. I don't think I'm gonna go any more in depth. We will do obviously respraying the trim, the door mirrors, trying to re-chrome the bumper a little bit, emblems, you know, little things here and there. But you know, we're not gonna respray the car. We're not gonna do professional rust repair or anything like that. So we're gonna go and do kind of a few things here and there, but I'm not gonna go crazy with it. And then when we're done doing all the restoration things, getting it roadworthy and stuff like that, like the brake lines and maybe suspension things that are necessary, basically the plan is just get this car to be a nice driver and a cruiser, so someone could have a cheap cruising car. As you guys may or may not remember or don't know, I'm not making $1 million off YouTube, so I still have to kind of make money. So this car is basically going to be something for me to teach you guys things about this, watch for content, obviously for fun, watch me go through an E30, and then I will, at the end of the day, I will be selling this car because I need to make money somehow, and I think this car has some potential. So I'm going to go through it and put the work into it that it needs to be a nice car that I could make some money on. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it. So it'll be a nice little E30 series, but nothing too in depth. So I'm just gonna get that right out of there, right off the bat. Don't want to disappoint anyone. But I think this car has some potential. I think it'll be a fun project to dive into. Everyone loves E30 stuff, so yeah. Here is the new project, a little beautiful E30. Not that I wanted to get back into an E30, but I just want to get into another project, so that's why I bought it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and shove this thing in the woods and put it under a cover for a little bit until I can finish my other projects and my trip, and then we'll be back with this thing. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys are excited for some E30 content, I hope so. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.